Welcome to Pre, or otherwise known as Patty Reviews Everything. It's a show where I like to review stuff, and obviously, since I'm a PokeTuber, a lot of Pokemon news just came out with the new games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, being announced. We did know already that a Pokemon game was going to come out later this year, but we didn't know what it was going to be called. We did assume it was going to be Gen 8, so the fact that the trailer dropped this early, probably because they knew Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee died pretty quick, a lot quicker than most Pokemon games. We got a trailer a lot earlier than we expected. Usually trailers drop around like April or something like that, but with the fact we got in February, I mean, I'm not fucking complaining. That means more SEO on Pokemon right now. That means more traffic, hopefully, for our channels, stuff like that. Hopefully all of our homies can prosper, that the new Pokemon news is coming out. But anyways, I'm not going to react to it because I've already seen the trailer, because obviously it's kind of my job to stay on top of Pokemon things. I already expressed like things I was excited about on Twitter and stuff, so if you don't follow me on Twitter over there, link in the description down below and on the screen right now if you want to check that out. So I'm going to kind of just break down the trailer, talk about things that I thought were interesting, and kind of point out some things that, I mean, speculate or theorize on it or something like that. So if you guys are excited, show your support, smash the like button, support's really appreciated. If you want to check all the other videos I've done on Pre-series to the whole Pre-playlist is down in the description down below as well. So let's go to the trailer now. Oh boy. Alright, I'm back. So this is going to be the trailer right now. Like I said, I'm going to be kind of pausing and breaking down things of what I see in this trailer and stuff. I've only watched it like maybe 2-3 times. I'm going to turn it down though, just so like it's not blowing my goddamn ears out. And also I want to try to keep it as transformative as possible so Nintendo doesn't block my shit. Even though I am reviewing it and... But, okay, I just want to start off from the get-go. I know this is a cutscene, but, look at the texture quality in this game. I'll break it down more, but just, like, simply just from this screenshot, you can see that there's way more texture detail. It kind of reminds me of, Xenoblade 2. Not Xenoblade 2. No, yeah. Anime Sword Fighter Simulator. Yeah, that's like the game kind of... like Tales of Vesperia kind of idea, like anime-ish kind of, with like the very shaded textures that kind of give it more. Is the walls, for example, it's a 3D, you know, it's a 3D object, but it has like a 2D surface. It's very flat, but what they do is they shade in the 2D surface to then make it 3D. So those walls, especially on the front, like right here, look like there's actual depth to it, but they didn't actually program any depth into it. It's just the art style that gives it that. But anyways, but like I just want to say, I'll explain it more in the... I'll explain it more, like there's going to be gameplay of it, and I'll explain what I mean by more textures and whatnot compared to what we have. So also, I know a lot of people were complaining about this. They were complaining about them using the Sun and Moon engine still, and in my opinion, I'm not really against the Sun and Moon engine. I think Pokemon Sun and Moon looked really good, even on the 3DS. I think the engine was really good. I just think the hardware, the 3DS couldn't handle it all. And I think the fact that we're gonna see, like for example, I think in Sun and Moon the 3D models that were used on the characters and everything like that were good 3D models. I just think the 3DS couldn't handle it and like really like show it off. So I think the fact that we're gonna have the same 3D models but like actually outscale the 1080p with like, look at these, like, okay, these graphics aren't like super like realistic and whatever, but it's the right aesthetic that I need. And for someone who likes to make like thumbnails and shit like that, this is a lot easier to like scale and move around and like, you know, like we don't need Citra anymore. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I don't know. Okay, so here, gameplay, right? Boom. Look at these fucking textures. Like I know this game isn't final because I think there's a weird shading difference between the actual model spray and the shadow of the character is a little off. If, you know, I'm zooming in right now. You can see this because it's like not directly underneath their foot because both their feet are planted, but like the lighting is coming from the left side because you can tell from the trees up top that the shadow is going to the right. I just think it should have been connected to the character, but whatever. What I was trying to get at is I think the texture of this game is a lot more extreme and a lot better. Like look at the house with all like the extra like, it's like the added things that they put on, like all the extra leaves on the house, and like you can see the grass is like, the grass actually has texture to it. Like there's some pieces of grass that are standing up. Like I talked about the walls. Like I just think there's so much more going on, and like look at the backdrop of like all the hills and stuff, and like look, you can even see in the back right corner that looks like a Pokemon Center or even maybe a gym of some sort. you know, like there's a lot of rendering going on this game. So I like the fact that the graphics are still like this, because I think this is a nice aesthetic to complement Pokemon. So I'm excited to see what this game looks like. And we can talk about the sceneries, my boy. The goddamn sceneries. First of all, obviously it's in the UK. Shout out to Duncan for calling that out. This is beautiful, right? If you guys know, I was in the UK for 3 months. So this looks like the countryside of the UK. I never went to the forest because I know I'm white, but I don't fuck with shit like that because I'm not trying to die. But that looks super sick. Like, imagine catching like ghost Pokemon or something like that in there. Or like you see fucking like Phantom or something like chilling in there. Trevenants. But I like the angles. You know, it just reminds me of Sun and Moon, but just way nicer looking. And like, obviously Pikachu. We have Chinchino here, which then now confirms like it's not gonna be a region. It's not gonna be black and white where they forced you to use all new Pokemon pretty much. Which I mean, like I wasn't against, but they have familiar faces. Like even using Chinchino is, I don't know how popular. Is it Chinchino or Minchino? I don't know how popular that Pokemon is, but you know, it's a Gen 5 mon, so that proves that it's gonna be not like a region based thing, which is good. Catch some wishy-washies. I think this game looks great. Those cutscenes, those battle animations are sick. Like, there's just so much. Another thing I want to know. First of all, Lucario hit that whip and Nene. I want to see if everything's scaled, because okay, so you can tell by the wild battle, there's no overworld sprites, which is fine. I mean, I would prefer it because for pacing wise, because buying repels is lame sometimes, and run it like when you're like in a cave trying to get out and you like walk 3 steps and run to fucking Zubats is annoying. But anyways, that could be a Let's Go thing. That's cool. I want the scaling to still be correct. I think that's one thing Let's Go did really well, is the scaling of the 151 mons that were in there, and the Alolan form, so it's like 160 something or whatever. I like the idea that everything was scaled to size. So like when an Onyx was out, it was fucking massive, and it wasn't like a shrunk down, like the meme of like Wailord being really tiny in like Sumo or even X and Y. Like everything, it was like shrunk down. So I hope everything is scaled correctly. That's what I'm really like hoping on. Like a mechanic that not a mechanic, I just for representation that I want. Also, he hit that motherfucking whip. I don't know if that was like the championship, but I like the arena of that. Reminds me of Smash, because obviously it's based off of the championship. Oh, also, yeah, what the fuck is that about? The fuck is... What is that? What's that gonna represent? What's that about? Is that like showing us what the legendary Pokemon might be? Because on the logo it's Sword and Shield and they're wolves. So I don't know if that's just a wolf because like that's used in like Renaissance times. Or is this a wolf as in like that's what the legendary Pokemon will be, which I'm cool with wolves, don't get me wrong. I'm fine with it. So if that's the case, like what does this represent? Like what's this kind of like image? Is this representing like the legendary Pokemon, like a very abstract like representation of it? Are those little people down there? Or those Pokemon that are like next to it, and then it's doing like a roar of some sort of attack? That might be the legendary. I don't know. That's what I take from it, but I have no idea. Oh, so what? Yeah, I don't know what this is about. What I think this is gonna be like a Pokemon, either a side game that they have in the game, or it's gonna be like a Star Studios kind of thing where they make you do it and they make you do it in the story mode, and it's kind of just eh. But if this is like a side game thing, I'm all for it, because you guys know I love side games. Like I fuck with the Pokeathlon, I love Voltorb Flip. I think contests were, I enjoyed contests when I was a kid. I don't really care for them now, but when I was a kid I liked the contests and like Ruby and Sapphire and stuff. So if this is side game stuff, I'm cool with it. If this is something that they like force you to kind of do in the story, I don't know. As long as it's fun to play, that's fine. I'm just worried that it's gonna be kind of like one of those things where we're like, it's a thing no one's gonna fucking use, you know? Pokemon FIFA 2020. Now for the important shit here. The starters, obviously. If you guys haven't seen the starters already, all a while. See, I thought that was Meowth at first running, but then I was like, why is there fire? But all right. So now we got the boy, Score Bunny. Well, that's his name. All right. So speculation on Score Bunny is, I think he's gonna be a fire steel type. I'm only saying that because that'd be sick, because I think the only mom that shares that is Heatran. I could be wrong, but Heatran's the first one that comes to mind. Is because it's a fire type starter, and when it's first seen on like Metal Gears and stuff. Obviously, that's such like a fucking Mr. Fantastic with the reach. Like that's not even enough evidence to even remotely fucking to like remotely even like have any ground base of like knowledge. But that'd be sick if it is fire steel. That'd be dope. That'd be really sick. That's what I would like. So now my boy Sobble, aka Sabi Tabi. Look at that boy. Ooh. Alright, my theory on him is he's gonna be water ghost, because he's obviously a water type starter and he was invisible. So like it makes him like hidden in the shroud. Hopefully not water dark. Not that I'm against that, because Greninja's sick and Crawdon's cool, but like water ghost would kind of share the same typing as like Jellicent. So water ghost would be super dope. But look at those little scoopy hands. Look at those little scoopy hands. Ooh, scoopy hands. Look at that boy. He's my favorite one. I like lizards though, so that's the thing. And then honestly my second favorite would be Grookey. I like Grookey the second. I like Scorch Bunny, like Scorn Buddy. He or she's okay. It's okay. It's kind of just eh. I think the final evolution will kind of do it for me, but just like full starter evolutions, Grookey and Sobble I like. Sobble the most, Grookey second, and I believe he'll be Grass Rock because well, he's Grass starter and he's hitting a rock with a stick. So I'm like I said, I'm just throwing speculations. I'm not saying this is gonna be facts or whatever. This is me just like, hey, that'd be cool if that was a nice like little nod to like letting us know what it's gonna be. But Grookey's cool. Oh yeah, also I want to know what that's about. Oh, the grass stood up. I was like, what does that represent? But never mind. It's cool that the stick that he uses is like in his hair. You know, the size is different, but you know, we got Grookey here, the little lemur. I think it's a lemur. I know it like comes close to monkey, but it reminds me of a lemur. So it's Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I'm excited for the game. I think there's gonna be a lot, as long as, like I said, as long as they keep the Pokemon scaled correctly. Like I want actual representations of scaling. Like I want Hoopa Unbound to be the size of a fucking building. I'm super excited for the graphics, because I don't want like super realistic graphics, because honestly I don't like the art style of Detective Pikachu. I don't even think that movie's gonna be good. I want the story, as long as the story doesn't hold your hand super hard. Like I don't mind it eating you a little bit, because obviously like it's supposed to cater to like a younger audience as well. But as long as it's like pretty just okay with you doing your thing, you know, like every Pokemon game's always like kind of like helped them and like aided you and stuff, but as long as they keep it like a minimum, I'm cool with it. And the pacing, as long as there's like, I don't mind cutscenes in Pokemon games. It's when the cutscenes go way too long is my issue. Like my issue with Sun and Moon wasn't the fact that I think Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon's a bad game, because I think they are good games. It's just they're bad games to fucking LP on, because the pacing is so bad. Because they'll do this thing where they have this like minute-long cutscene, which is fine. It's cool to have a minute-long cutscene. It's totally normal in games. They'll have a minute-long cutscene. The cutscene will end. You walk 5 feet, and then another minute-long cutscene comes in, and it's like, what was like? It just it just pulls the player out of like immersion, if that's what you're really trying to aim for, because cutscenes are supposed to like immerse you. It just takes like the immersion out, because it's like you go from not playing to, oh okay, we're gonna play now, cool, I get to like progress, and then you move 5 steps and it goes back to a cutscene. It's like, okay, why not just have both cutscenes together? what was this 5? Why did I have to walk 5 fucking steps to activate the next cutscene? I don't want any of that, because that's fucking bad game design. And also, there's some cutscenes in Sun and Moon that could have been ended 5-10 seconds earlier, because they always do this weird fucking thing where the cutscene ends and it just like, it shows a character's face and the character just stands there, and then it like pans to black, not pan, it dips to black, and then you play. It's like, what? Why? What was that last part for? Literally, you could have ended the cutscene by them walking away and then you move. What was the whole point of them walking away? Camera like cuts to you. You stand there with the blank face, or a character stands there with the blank face. Then it dips to black. Then you play after it loads in. It's a whole 5 to 10 seconds that you're wasting. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you do that at the end of every cutscene, and that's like fucking 20 minutes you'll never get back. And it's like 20 minutes could really make or break pacing. Like, you take any movie that's like 2.5 hours long and you thought it was kind of long, if the movie was 2 hours and 10 minutes, you'd probably enjoy it more. I mean, I like long movies, but what I'm getting at is people who complain about pacing. Like, 20 minutes could really fucking change something. But anyways, I'm really excited for these games. Really excited for the Pokemon community to really prosper off of this, because it's been really slow, especially since Let's Go's been out. Like, obviously, I've talked about my stats being low and everything, but I'm not the only one. So I want all my homies to eat. I want all my homies to prosper. I want everyone to grow and be cool with it. I want this game to really kind of unite everyone again. And I'm really excited for these games. I'll probably do more pre's as more trailers drop or whatever on these, because I'm assuming this isn't going to be the only one that they come out with until the game comes out. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please show your support, smash the like button. Support is greatly appreciated. Double check the links down in the description down below. My Twitter, my Twitch, my merchandise. If you're into that, I'll be streaming as well today around like 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Probably do some Pokemon TCG, because I like TCG now. I've been getting into it. And with that being said, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. You guys know me as PattyTrills. I'm out. A yoga.